you made a decision on whether to supply Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine or sell them to NATO and let them sell them to Ukraine?
Yeah, I've sort of made a decision, pretty much.
Share
You know,
with us,
if you consider, yeah, I think I want to find out what they're doing with them.
Yes.
You know, where are they sending them? I guess I'd have to ask that question. That war should never have started, would have never started. Such bad judgment was used there. I think on both sides, by the way. But nobody looks good with the war with Russia and Ukraine. Nobody. It's been a horrible.
I didn't have any goal, and I never set such a goal to do something just to please someone. I just say things as they are. Well, just now you were talking about the President of the United States. There were also questions related, for example, to the discussion of problems with the supply of new weapon systems, including long-range, high-precision systems like Tomahawks and so on. Well, as I already said, this will lead to the destruction of our relations, or at the very least, of the positive trends that have begun to emerge in these relations.
Mr. President,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Since the start of your administration, we've seen a lot more Americans wanting to join ICE. And as we're seeing more attacks on them right now, what's your message to rank-and-file ICE agents who are trying to do their jobs but are facing a 1,000% increase in attacks?
I love your questions, you know. I like you. So who are you with?
I'm with NTD.
Very
I
good.
was the one who got mugged.
You were the one, that's what I thought. You got mugged. You're not getting mugged anymore.
Not anymore.
She was really, you're lucky to be with us with that deal that happened. I know all about that. Not anymore, though. You feel a different world out there, right?
Totally. You're safe with the baby nowadays.
Oh, good. Well, you're safe now. You're not. Nobody's going to be hurting you in any way.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, on the Supreme Court today.
Thank you. So the bottom line on your question, we're just going to make things real safe. We're going to have a country that you can be proud of, not a country that you read about every day where somebody gets mugged from behind or hit over the head with a baseball bat. Those people aren't with us any longer. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. On today's call with Lula from Brazil,
Yeah.
are you considering lowering tariffs after the call?
Well, I had a great talk with the president of Brazil, who's a good man. I met him actually at the United Nations. I was going up to make a speech and I didn't have a teleprompter. I was walking up to my teleprompter. I said, I don't have a teleprompter. But just before that, I met with President Lula, and I found him to be very good. I mean, we had a very good talk for about, 2 minutes. And then I went up to make a speech, and I was surprised to see, how would you like that one, Doug? I've got every leader in the world sitting out there. And my teleprompter isn't on. You know why, Daniel? Because it was a rigged deal. But fortunately, I made a better speech than I would have if I read it off a teleprompter, which is pretty easy to do. So it was quite a day. That was a big day. But we met and we liked each other. And, we had a great conversation. We'll start doing business.
And are you considering traveling to Brazil for COP30?
At some point, I would, and he's going to come here. We talked about that.
And a follow-up question on Israel. Israel government has been arresting and deporting activists that were traveling to Gaza. Today, Greta Thunberg, for instance, also some...
Well, she's just a troublemaker, I mean, she's no longer into the environment, now she's into this. She's a troublemaker. She has an anger management problem. I think she should see a doctor. She needs anger. If you ever watch her, she's a young person. She's so angry. She's so crazy. Now you can have her. She's just a troublemaker. Yeah, please.
The Supreme Court is back in its term today, Mr. President.
Say it.
The Supreme Court is back in session. Yeah. They rejected today an appeal by Ghislaine Maxwell to overturn her conviction. That means her only chance at getting out of prison is a pardon from you. Is that something you're open to?
Who are we talking about?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
I haven't heard the name in so long. I can say this, that I'd have to take a look at it. I would have to take a look. Did they reject that?
She wanted to appeal her conviction.
And what happened?
They said that they were not going to hear her appeal.
I see. Well, I'll take a look at it. I will speak to the DOJ. I wouldn't consider it or not consider it. I don't know anything about it. So, but I'll speak. I will speak to the DOJ.
Why would she be a candidate for clemency, sir?
I don't know. I mean, I'd have to speak to the DOJ. I'll look at it. I have a lot of people who have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy has asked me for a pardon.
But she was convicted of child sex trafficking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to take a look at it. I'd have to ask DOJ. I didn't know they rejected it. I didn't know she was even asking for it, frankly. Steve?
Have you made a decision on whether to supply Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine or sell them to NATO and let them sell them to Ukraine?
Yeah, I've sort of made a decision, pretty much. You know, if you consider, yeah, I think I want to find out what they're doing with them.
Yes.
You know, where are they sending them? I guess I'd have to ask that question. That war should never have started, would have never started. Such bad judgment was used there. I think on both sides, by the way. But nobody looks good with the war with Russia and Ukraine. Nobody. It's been a horrible. This week they lost over 7,000 soldiers between the two of them. This is every week they're losing 7,000, 8,000, 5,000.
They have a range of like 1,500 miles or something, so they'd be able to.
No, I know. No, I would ask some questions. I want to see what's. I'm not looking to see escalation.
Yes. And tomorrow you're meeting with the Canadian Prime Minister. What's on the agenda for that?
Well, I guess he's going to ask about tariffs because a lot of companies from Canada are moving into the United States. You know, everybody's moving back into the U.S. and he's probably going to be asking about tariffs. They're losing a lot of companies in Canada. They're coming into They left here. They left here 20 years ago when presidents that sat right at this desk weren't doing their job properly. They were probably good politicians, but they weren't good at business, and they allowed these companies to leave. And all they had to do is do what I'm doing right now. And, you know, I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do, but it is. It's effective. We're a rich country again. We're a powerful country because, you know, I've ended 7 wars. At least half of them was because of my ability at trade and because of tariffs. If I didn't have tariffs to throw around a little bit, you would have at least 4 wars raging right now with thousands of people a day being killed that aren't happening. We've settled. You know, we settled 7. We're getting close to settling 8. That would be a big one. And that's something that could happen. But so I think he's coming probably to talk about tariffs because a lot of companies are leaving Canada to come into the U.S. And they're leaving Mexico. And by the way, they're leaving China. They're leaving all over the world to come into the U.S. Nobody's actually seen anything like it.
Today, a lot of signals were sent to the world, to the President of the United States. Overall, quite positive signals. And to European leaders, various ones, both positive and sharp. So is there hope that any of them will hear you?
Well, I just honestly and openly laid out certain situations, the essence of the issues and how I feel about these issues. But it's up to my colleagues how they choose to respond to that. I spoke sincerely and honestly as things really are, how it actually happened and how I would like to see the situation develop. But at this point, it depends on the position of those people we talked about today, one way or another. Well, some people will like something, others won't. I didn't have any goal, and I never set such a goal to do something just to please someone. I just say things as they are. Well, just now you were talking about the President of the United States. There were also questions related, for example, to the discussion of problems with the supply of new weapon systems, including long-range, high-precision systems like Tomahawks and so on. Well, as I already said, this will lead to the destruction of our relations, or at the very least of the positive trends that have begun to emerge in these relations. So I say what I think, and how things will turn out depends not only on us and not only on me.
First, we have acquired many modern high-tech weapon systems. Take the Oreshnik, for example. Ma jerie, żazis, meroshnicia. Not Oreshkin, but Oreshnik. And not long ago, we showed that such types of weapons are not strategic. Now we hear some experts in the United States say, no, this is still strategic weaponry. Well, we need to sort this out. I won't go into details now, but we need to sort this out. This, of course, takes time. We have another hypersonic weapon, Kinjal, and intercontinental range weapon, Avangard. We might have more. Other systems might appear. We haven't forgotten anything we planned. Everything is progressing and there will be results. Here is the first part. The second is tactical nuclear weapons. It talks about strategic, but the tactical ones, you know, are many times more powerful than what the Americans once dropped on Japan, on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Was it 20 kilotons or something? Here it is many times more. It's just tactical weapons. And you see, there are also pitfalls here. We are not deploying it anywhere.
So that means
in Belarus, yes, except for Belarus. And the Americans have it all over the world, throughout Europe, in Turkey, everywhere. But we have more of it. That's true. We know that there is. There are people in the States who say we don't need any extension, but if they don't need it, then we don't need it either. No? Overall, we are fine. We are confident in our nuclear shield. We know what to do tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. If it's not needed, it's not needed. You started with a visit to the United States, to Alaska. We did not talk with President Trump about almost any issues, even the bilateral agenda. We only talked about the possibilities and ways to resolve the Ukrainian crisis. Overall, this is already good. In my opinion, President Trump, well, we have known him for a long time. He likes to be a bit provocative. We all see this. The whole world sees it. But he is, in principle, such a person who knows how to listen. Strangely enough, listens, hears, responds. So, in principle, he is quite a comfortable conversationalist, I would say. That's it. And the fact that we made an attempt to search for and find possible solutions to the Ukrainian crisis, in my opinion, is not bad. This is the first point. Second, in any case, the discussion, although superficial, was about the restoration of Russian-American relations, which are not just at a standstill, but at the lowest level in for all the times that can be remembered. And it seems to me that the very fact of our meeting, the very fact of the visit, and I am grateful to the President for how he organized it. All these are signs aimed at considering the restoration of bilateral relations. And in my opinion, this is good for everyone, for us in a bilateral sense, and for the entire international community. When we talked with my friend, and I truly consider the chairman of the People's Republic of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, my friend, we have established very trusting personal relations. He said, we in China welcome, and he didn't say this publicly, but when we were talking one-on-one, we welcome the restoration and normalization of Russian-American relations in China. And if anything depends on us, we will do everything to facilitate this. But the visit to the People's Republic of China had, of course, a much broader character. Why? Well, firstly, because we were together marking the end of the Second World War. As a result of this joint struggle, Russia and China, Russia primarily in the fight against Nazism, and then together in the fight against Japanese militarism, made a huge contribution. I have already spoken about this. It is enough to look at enormous human sacrifices that Russia and China made on the altar of this victory. That is the first point. Second, still it is, of course, from our side, just as from China's side, when the chairman came to the celebration of the 9th of May in Russia. This means that we remain in the spirit of this alliance. The visit to China had such a global, fundamental character. And this allowed us, of course, on the sidelines of these events to discuss the situation in the world, synchronize our watches, talk about the development of bilateral relations in the economy, in humanitarian areas, in the cultural sphere, and in the field of education. We have now decided to declare the upcoming years as the years of education. What does this actually mean? It means that we want to are working and will continue to work with young people, and this is look into the future. I highly value the results, and in my opinion it was another good step forward in the development of our relations.
Vladimir Vladimirovich, it seems to me that you are the first world leader to call Trump a comfortable interlocutor. People say anything about him, but not that.
You know, I'm speaking sincerely, right? I know we all, as I said, like to engage in some showmanship, in my opinion. So, and raise questions sharply there. In this speech, I said he defends his national interests as he defines them. But sometimes, I will repeat once more, sometimes it's better to hear a direct position than some evasive words that are hard to understand. But I want to repeat this, not just to say some nice words. We talked for about an hour and a half, right? I expressed my position. He listened to me attentively, did not interrupt. I also listened to him attentively. We exchanged. The questions are complex, you understand? I won't go into details because that's not customary. He says, listen, this will be difficult to do. I say, yes. Well, yes, you see, we started discussing some details. We discussed, you see, I want it to be like this. We discussed not like someone saying, I think you should do this and you do that and you take off your hat. You understand? Well, there was nothing like that. Of course, it's important for this to reach a logical conclusion to a result. That's true, but it's a complex process. I have spoken about this as well, achieving a balance of interests. Reaching a consensus is difficult, but if we approach this and achieve it during discussions, then these are substantial agreements that one can hope will work for a long time. We were simply discussing possible settlement options, you understand? We spoke quite openly, honestly. What will come of it, I don't know. But we are ready to continue this discussion. And whose idea was it to meet in Alaska?
Well, what difference does it make? The main thing is that we met. Thank you.
So, Ivan Timofeyevich, we were comfortable in Alaska.